Welcome to the Morning Report, a production of fightbackmedia.com, the #1 source of urban conservative information in America.
Well, good morning and welcome to the Morning Report. My name is Willie Lawson. The Morning Report is a production of fightbackmedia.com, 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 and fightbackmediatv.com. Hope that you are well today on this Monday morning. I think this is going to come out on Monday. It may come out on Sunday. I don't know. Who knows? At least Monday. I hope that you're well. There's been a lot of back and forth and talk about the Department of Governmental Efficiency. And before we get into the video, there's been some pushback because there are people who are saying, well, that's not in the Constitution. Well, neither is the IRS, by the way. Neither is the EPA. Neither is the Department of Education. Neither is the Department of Energy. You get what I'm saying? This is not a governmental agency at the same level as the EPA or the NEA, which is not in the Constitution, by the way. Neither is the FBI or the CIA. This is basically an independent review. Yes. Some of Trump's friends. Yes, no doubt. There's no way to separate that. But an independent review of the efficiency of governmental agencies. And we're going to talk about that today. So let's go ahead and get this video started. Here's some key takeaways. Here's some points we're going to hit today. The first is transparency and security concerns, because people are worried about that kind of stuff. The Department of Government Efficiency, Doge, as we'll call it, is subject to significant scrutiny for its potential impacts on federal payment systems, raising security concerns among lawmakers. Who they're going to know about? Elon Musk. A year ago, the left was dancing to Elon's tunes, or 5 years ago, and now they're not. Although, AOC says that Elon is stupid, the same dude that's sending rockets into space and 21 satellites on each rocket, creating this whole massive internet system, and the car that's in space. Elon's a moron, and AOC is a genius somehow. Anyway. His role. There's an ongoing debate about Elon's influence in Doge, particularly in light of his unelected status. Here's what I talked about in a video the other day. The president of the United States has always had advisors. Always. They do. People that they can call on the phone. People that they can send an email to. Here's the difference in Doge. These are people that you know, doing work that you can see. It addresses the first point that I made just now of the transparency. You see it happening. You hear about it. As a matter of fact, you hear about it every day. Here's the third takeaway. Potential government overhaul. Doge's efforts are positioned as one of the most critical reviews of government operations, aiming to streamline inefficiencies by potentially overhauling and cutting federal jobs and programs. And that's the thing. That's what's got people in an uproar. They have been living in this life and this lifestyle, and now someone is going to interrupt that life and that lifestyle. And they don't like it. And they don't like it. All right. Here's the Treasury Department's assurance of security amid the Doge review. So amid concerns of potential system vulnerabilities, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent has been vocal in dispelling misinformation surrounding the review conducted by the Department of Government Efficiency, or Doge, through various statements and interviews, notably with Bloomberg Secretary Bessent, notably with Bloomberg. Secretary Bessent has asserted the nature of Doge's work, emphasizing a secure and non-disruptive approach to the Treasury's payment systems. Here's what Bissett says. He says it's an operational review, not an ideological review. Okay. He said this talking to Bloomberg, Sahela Monshin. This statement encapsulates the intended neutrality of Doge's investigation. The reassurance from Bissett that the team members are, quote, highly trained professionals with strictly read-only access to the data. This access ensures the integrity of the federal payment systems remain intact, which guarantees that the system control remains with the Federal Reserve, which is another whole problematical thing. But anyway, the ability to change the system sits over at the Federal Reserve. We don't even run that's the crazy part. We don't even run the system of payments. The detailed assertions are vital amid a backdrop of concerns that Doge's reviews may influence critical payments for services like Social Security and Medicare. The greater implications rest on maintaining public confidence in the federal system amidst pervasive skepticism. Now, here's what all that means. That means that the people who are working at Doge or working for Doge only have read access memory. They don't have any ability to change anything. So this whole thing that they're out there cutting program. They're not cutting anything. Eli hasn't cut a damn thing. Not anything. Eli hasn't cut nothing. He can't. They can't. All they're really doing, and this is the part that amazes me that people are upset about. All they're really doing is looking through data and going, "What's this? Is this the Iraqi Sesame Street? Hey, is this the Iraqi Sesame Street? What are you doing? Yeah. Write that down. Iraqi Sesame Street. How much? Wow. Now, we had this discussion yesterday or the day before or last week. I don't believe there's any such thing as the Iraqi Sesame Street. That money's going to somebody for some reason. Don't you? Let's talk about Elon. Elon and Doge. A supposedly controversial collaboration. The involvement of Elon Musk and Doge has not been without controversy. Questions large loom over Elon's role, with critics worried about the degree of influence wielded by an unelected tech magnate over substantial government changes. I just told you. And this is what you can tell your friends. Elon right now is a friend of the president. He's an advisor. The difference between Elon and other advisors that presidents have had over the decades is that you know who he is and you know a little bit about him. That's the only difference. That's it. As highlighted in the transcript, a Treasury Department official was prompted to send reassurances to Congress addressing that the lawmakers' qualms that Elon's collaboration would not misdirect or halt essential federal payments. So Chuck Schumer, Maxine Waters, Hakeem Jeffries, AOC, Ilhan Omar are out there screaming that Elon's trying to cut off people's welfare checks and checks for their Social Security, and when frankly, if the beginning of the month has rolled around, because we are at today while I'm doing this, it's the 7th of February. All the people who get SSI and whatever on the 1st or the 3rd, you got your money, didn't you? All those folks that live on food stamps, you got your money, right? Got your card, right? Put it on your card, right? So ask the question, what are these people talking about? This is not what they're talking about isn't happening. The unease stems from Elon's visible statements on social media, including assertions that Doge would interrupt payments to certain organizations. instigating frustrations among Democrat lawmakers about the lack of transparency and public accountability, which is interesting because they're saying so. The prospects of an influential external figure steering government actions bring to the fore broader debates about governance and power dynamics in federal operations. What did I just say? They're used to their lifestyle and their life. When they're talking about external figures, that external figure should be me and you. It should be us. Elon, good or bad, is in a very real way representing me and you. Elon's not a regular dude. I get it. He's not the average Joe. And there's no way to paint Elon Musk as the average Joe. But the average Joe is curious if they were to read about some Iraqi Sesame Street or payments to places in South America that are or actually Ireland, putting together DEI trans musicals featuring trans people promoting DEI. Yeah, average Joe is like, what the hell is that? Why are we spending money on that? And we talked about this earlier. It doesn't even matter the amount of money. It's the idea of it that is problematical. And there's so much of it. Why? Why are federal employees getting subscriptions to Politico or the Washington Post or New York Times online? Why? Why are they? That doesn't raise a red flag for anybody. Well, you know what? To average Joe, it does. And a lot of people, myself included, did not know. And I do this every day. So I did not know. So I'm pretty sure average Joe did not know either. It explains some things to average Joe. So Elon Musk is out there, and what he's doing is that he is in place of average Joe. He's not average. Let me help you. He ain't average Joe. There ain't nothing average or Joe-ish about Elon Musk. Nothing. Not at all. Not at all. But he's averaged right now. Right now, he's averaged Joe's eyes and ears into how the Leviathan is working and what the Leviathan is thinking and how it's eating and where it's eating from. It says this: my adult life sees one of the most important audits of government that we've seen. This is right now in my adult life. In my adult life, this is the only audit of government that I've ever seen. Now we've seen, and we mentioned this last week, right? Last week, we mentioned this last week that Festivus by Rand Paul comes out he does this every year in December about some of the insane stuff, the outrageous stuff that gets paid for by U.S. taxpayers. But now it's real. And things are happening. Things are actually happening. People are deciding, well, we're not going to do that anymore. New Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Florida in the house, baby, Florida in the house, is looking at taking the number of employees at U.S. aids from 14,000 down to 294. I mean, it is kind of an Elon Musk Twitter decrease of employees, right? How could there be 13,700 employees at U.S. aids that don't need to be there? 13,700 employees. Funneling, and that's the term, funneling money to everywhere in the world for all sorts of ridiculous reasons. And what they're angry about is that now average Joe, you know about it. That's what they're angry about. Like I said last week, they're not trying to defend this stuff. They're trying to be angry that somebody actually found out. Right? All right. So let's talk about evaluating potential overhauls and what their ramifications could be. So amidst the whirlwind of debate, Doge is perceived as spearheading a comprehensive audit that could redefine federal structures. The task force initiated during the Trump administration underscores finding ways to fire federal workers, cut programs, and slash federal regulations. An agenda that inherently carries significant implications for public administration. Right? Secretary Pezet affirms this methodical. This is methodical and is going to yield big savings. Such a predictive proclamation highlights the transformative potential of Doge's evaluations. And this is just an evaluation. Doge is not out there cutting programs. Doge is out there just talking about it, focusing on economic gains through streamlining and eradicating redundancies. Yet, this transformation raises questions about the societal and economic impacts of such deep cuts. Now, when you change something, things are going to change. And there isn't any way that we can, as adults, think that you're going to change some stuff and you're going to cut some stuff and things won't change. Like when your people at work, where you work, the mucky mucks decide to cut this or that to save money, to streamline business. And they're looking at long term. And there isn't any way that is not going to change your workflow, make it more difficult, make certain things take longer. There's no way that isn't going to happen. And yes, some of these things are going to happen. But it's super important that government is transparent, government is efficient, which that's the meme. The meme is that government's never been efficient about anything. The government's always been inefficient and taking the longest way around and the most expensive way around to do everything and do it in a half-assed manner. That's kind of been the meme, right? You want to screw something up? You want to have a good idea and then implement it badly? Have government do it, right? That's been the meme. Maybe it's time in our culture with trillions of dollars in deficits. Trillions. Not enough money from the U.S. taxpayers and the 1% of the top 10% of the 1% to fix it, even if you took all their money. Even if you took all their money. Even if you said, Elon, Bezos, you guys, give me all your money. Wouldn't be able to fix it. That's crazy. Insane. Maybe it's time to do something drastically different. But when you decide to do things that are drastically different, like I said yesterday or Friday or whenever the last video went out, a hit dog will holler. A hit dog will holler. So when this happens, of course there'll be pushback. Despite assurances from the Treasury Department that the ongoing review has not caused payments for obligations such as Social Security, Medicare, to be delayed or rerouted, some lawmakers, they are still out there saying the same stuff. They're concerned about the broader repercussion. The potential curtailment of federal roles and services could lead to a drastic reconceptualization of government operations framed by the dogma efficiency and cost cutting, yet potentially at odds with public service delivery and job security. Yes. Okay. So let's talk about job security. I have to be careful here. I have relatives that I've worked for and currently work for the state of Florida. And I'll tell you how it is. A lot of people go to work for government, and they go to work for government for this reason. Once you get involved with working with government, either at the city or the state, especially the federal level, you've got a job for life. You've got a job for life. Job security is, oh my God, right? This should not be. And I know this is a paradigm shift, 180 degrees. This should not be. Getting involved and getting a job in a federal program should not set you up for lifetime employment. All right. For those of you who are putting pieces together or taking pieces out of my videos and using them on Twitter or Instagram, and you want to put them out of context, take this. This is in context. Getting a job with the federal government should not be a lifetime appointment. Should not be. In every other aspect of work in America, in the world, really, people get displaced because of efficiency initiatives, cost-cutting initiatives, automation. Now, some of these bureaucratic jobs will disappear because of artificial intelligence, because of AI. Their jobs are simply not necessary. When we can look at U.S. aid of the 14,000 employees, and it could be seen that 300 people could do that job. It is malfeasance not to make that change. Yes, that's 13,700 people who will be unemployed. I know. And that's hard. It is very difficult. But let's tell them, like Biden told the factory workers who are being displaced, the people who work for the oil industry, who they were trying through using green initiatives to replace. They could learn coding. You see how heartless that statement is? They can learn coding. Do something else. The car replaced the buggy whip. Did. But when we're talking about the federal government has a duty to the American public, to the American taxpayers, to run as efficiently and bare bones as humanly possible. It has a duty not to be overgrown and bloated, not to be all things to all people, not to be a place where someone can land and have a job for the rest of their natural lives, and then have a pension that they get paid as if they were working. Hell, you end up paying people who are not working as much as the people who are actually working. The U.S. government, especially the federal government, has a duty not to be that. So yes, there will be this huge paradigm shift that these cost-cutting methods and this dogma inefficiency will collide with what people think should be. As Doge embarks on this pivotal chapter, its journey is watched with a mix of anticipation and caution. Some of us are like, yeah, baby. But there are a bunch of us who are going, I wonder, everybody's cool until their ox gets gored, right? Everybody's fine until their ox gets gored. There are billions of dollars missing from the Department of Defense. Billions. Billions missing. And yes, they could go through and slash out all the trans days and Pride Day festivities and no more pride flags at Department of Defense's locations around the world. They can do all that and save micro pennies, nano pennies, sure. But when we start looking at some of these other initiatives on weapon systems and the like, again, everybody's cool until their ox gets gored. So let's go ahead and have that same energy when Doge starts looking at the Department of Defense, asking Pete Hegseth, who a lot of you fought for, what about these billions of dollars that are missing? You have to account for them in a spirit of transparency and honesty. You're going to have to tell the American public what you did with that money. What about this weapon systems that you paid for, but you never implemented? Forget implementing, it never got done. But McDonnell Douglas or whomever got the money. Yeah, it's gonna be like that. So balancing efficiency with equity and professional oversight with public transparency, Doge initiative underlines significant themes in governance and administration. While it promises considerable savings and streamlines bureaucratic process, the challenge lies in navigating concerns surrounding security, accountability, and power dynamics especially. Whether the intended operational review will culminate in a much touted grand savings without sacrificing crucial societal values remains a critical conundrum at the heart of this transformative endeavor. We'll see. We will see. But we have to do first. And we'll talk a lot about this week and into the future. We have to ignore the noisemakers, the Chuck Schumers and the Maxine Waters and the Hakeem Jeffries and the Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and the Ilhan Omars who are out there, telling lies about you're just trying to take away, because that's been the thing all along. They're trying to take away your money. They're trying to take away your rights. No, got to look into the thing, right? Got to look into where the money's going. No one's trying to take your Social Security. No one's trying to take your WIC. No one's trying to take your food stamps. No one's doing that. Now, if you are someone who is on WIC or food stamps or SSI, and you're not supposed to be, yeah, we're trying to take that from you. If you are committing fraud on those programs, yeah, that needs to come to an end. Why? Because it's good for the people who aren't committing fraud. Let me give you an example before I go. A lot of you who watch me know that I work at a theme park. And every theme park has a program for people who are disabled in one way or the other. And the theme park I work at has a program for people who are physically disabled. The disabled that you can see, they're an amputee. That's the one that we see mostly. They're in a wheelchair. That kind of thing. We have a program. that allows, and all the theme parks in America do, that allows some changes to whatever, so they can participate in riding rides. They can participate in being on the attractions or in the attractions. Right? Everybody has one. But because there are disabilities that we cannot see, and one of them, of course, is PTSD. Allowances have been made for those disabilities as well. But because of the laws in America, I'm moving along. Because of the laws in America, the person who is at the theme park, me, hi, may I help you? Right? I can't ask you individual questions about your condition. I can't look at paperwork describing your individual conditions because, first of all, I'm not a doctor. If you say that you can't wait in lines because of some condition, the only thing that I can do is go, okay, let me get you into this thing. And you guys all know what the thing is. The thing is, like, so if you get to the ride or the attraction and the line is super long, or you're struggling for whatever reason that you're struggling, so the ride attendant will give you a time to come back. You and your party. Everybody knows what everybody. We're talking about this, but everybody knows what that is. It's been my experience. That's the most abused thing in every theme park in the country. People who are saying, I have this malady, this disability that you can't see, when they don't. They just don't want to wait in line. And they just don't want to buy a quick queue or an express pass or a fast pass. They just don't want to buy it. They want to get a time to come back and they can just walk onto the ride or walk into the attraction. And that's what they're doing. And that's terrible. Because there are people who really do need this stuff. And these people who are abusing the system are clogging it up and making it more difficult for them. This is how I look at government. This is how I look at people who are getting food stamps that they don't deserve. Able-bodied people who aren't working because it's a whole bunch it's a whole bunch easier to sit on your big fat and get that check every month. You don't even have to go to the mailbox anymore. You can get that bad boy right here. You used to have to go to the mailbox, get it out, go down to the Amscot, get it cashed, right? Now you just sit home and grab your phone and go, it's there. You get an email, it's there. I got paid. Right? And if you don't deserve it, that makes it harder for the people who do. If Doge is done right, it's the most compassionate audit of the U.S. federal government that we've ever had. All right, we got to get out of here, make room for somebody else. So until we see you again, go out there and learn something, love somebody. And for goodness sakes, y'all take care of yourself. We will see you when we see you. Bye-bye now.